From all the time I've spent making stuff over the years and sharing it online for people to see, one important lesson that I've learned is that one of the most useful things you can do for yourself as a creator is to learn how to create at your own pace and on your own terms. There are a lot of people out there who will be very loud and sound very confident when they're giving you advice about how to be a successful creator. They're going to tell you how many times you need to post every single week, what days it should be on, what time it should be at. They're going to tell you what your videos and your content needs to sound and look like. They're going to tell you what viral hooks you need to use to keep people watching. And maybe when you do all of that, you can finally start getting all of the subscribers and the followers, the viewers, the sponsors, and the money. But if none of that works, you can always sign up for their course, which is going to cost you like $2,000, and they're going to tell you the exact same stuff in that, except now you're also going to be part of an exclusive community of people who also got scammed out of their money to listen to all of that stuff. And you know what pisses me off most about all of these people that give out these blanket statement pieces of advice to new creators? It is the confidence that they do it with. Because I know from personal experience just how dangerous that can be to someone who's still in the early stages of this whole creator game. Because I know how easy it is, as someone who's new to this, to come across a post from one of these creator guru bozos and think, okay, they seem like they know what they're talking about, so I'm gonna try that. And then when you try all of their advice and it ends up not working, you're left with this feeling of disappointment because you start wondering if the reason why it didn't work out for you is because you're just not cut out for this. Because the person that gave you the advice said that they spent like 16 months researching all of the top creators and the tips and the tricks and the strategies that they used for their success. And they said that it works for them. So if you follow all of that advice word for word, there's no way that it's not going to work for you as well, right? But let me tell you, knowing what I know from years of personal experience, all of that is bullshit. The truth is, there's no one out there who has any sort of blueprint for how any of this works, no matter how much they try to convince you that they do. There is no guarantee that something that's worked for one person is going to work for you. And there's also no guarantee that something you've done in the past is going to work for you again, or that it's going to continue working. Everyone is guessing. They're just guessing. And the problem is, some people out there are guessing out loud in a way that tries to make them seem smarter than they actually are. I've mentioned this before, but I have had a bunch of channels in the past, and with every single one of them, including this one, I have tried so many different schedules and tips and tricks and strategies and whatever that I've seen worked for other people. And guess what? There's never been a reliable way for me to know that something is going to work for me. And most of that stuff never worked. Like, let me give you an example. In the early stages of this channel, I sat down and I decided that I wanted to try and make one video a week, every week, for as long as I possibly could, because it was a schedule that I saw other creators were using and it looked like it was working for them. And it worked out for me as well for a while, but eventually I kind of hit this wall where I just couldn't keep up anymore. I had no ideas for videos that I wanted to work on, or I had ideas, but they would have taken me longer to work on them than the amount of time that I had before the next time I had to upload. So I missed a week, and then I missed another week, and then I felt shitty about it. Because I was like, other people are doing this just fine, and it works for them. So then what's wrong? Why can't I do it? Why can't I keep up? And then I decided to take a step back and really think about it, and I realized something that was kind of obvious, but also very necessary, which is that I am just a totally different person in a totally different situation. And while I find it impressive that there are people out there who can reliably make 5 videos every single week and have most of them be at least somewhat decent, I also realized that's not a way of doing things that works for me. If I wanted to, I could make my videos look and sound like someone else's. I can use the same schedule. But you know what I can't do? I can't copy the exact situation and the circumstances that they live in day by day, and I can't copy the way that they think about those situations and those circumstances. And whether I like it or not, that is a huge reason why something works for them and it doesn't work for me. And I gotta be honest, trying to do things the exact same way that I saw was working for someone else and not having it work the same way for me eventually started making my creative process feel like a chore. Because at one point, I caught myself in this situation where creating stuff was actually getting in the way of me just living my life. Like, there would be moments when I would actively choose to go out and do something with friends when I could be at home recording something for my next YouTube video. And as stupid as this is gonna sound, it made me feel anxious. But when I noticed that this was happening, I was like, there is no shot that I'm letting this be a thing. Something needs to change. So I straight up decided I am done with the optimal schedule for YouTube success. I am done with this viral hook, that retention hack, making every video this long, making every title and thumbnail and description look and sound like this. Because there was no way that I was willing to let my creative work become a chore that I end up hating because it's holding back the rest of my life. I want to be able to go out with friends, see my family members, binge watch a show, play some video games, go to the gym, go climbing, or whatever, without feeling like shit. Without feeling like I should be at home working on my next viral video and being a slave to the dogshit hustle culture that so many people push every day. There's this trend nowadays where a lot of creators will always be screaming at you to just do it, just hit record, bring your camera everywhere, document everything, make something. Why aren't you making anything? And while I realize that a lot of people do it from a place of good, from a place of wanting to inspire you to take that first step and to stop overthinking everything that's in your head and to just start creating. I also think that eventually that can start tipping over into toxic positivity territory, and it's completely okay to admit that there are just days when I don't feel like it. I don't feel like making stuff. There are absolutely days when creating something is all I want to do, and I'll sit down and I'll get to work and 6 hours are going to feel like one. But that is not every single day for me like a lot of people out there want you to believe that it is for them. And I don't think creators talk about this enough. Some people have a family to take care of or a job that has nothing to do with creating. Some people have anxiety or depression, and that's kind of what I mean when I say that you need to be able to create at your own pace. If you feel like you need to take a rest, take a rest. Do something that isn't creating your next amazing piece of work. Live life and take care of stuff that might be more important. It's fine. Because you just can't force creativity. You can force yourself to stick to a specific schedule. You can force yourself to make content that looks a certain way, but it shows. And again, I'm speaking from personal experience. There are days when I get up and I feel tired, or I'm in a bad mood, or there's just other real life stuff that has me stressed out. And the last thing I need is to worry about creating just because someone out there who has absolutely no idea what sort of situation I'm in told me I should be. So don't worry about the schedule that someone told you was the secret to their success, and stop listening to the people giving you the dogshit generic vague advice like just don't be boring. Okay, buddy, yeah, that's really insightful. That is really just very constructive, and I'm gonna put that in the mind palace for later. Social media is full of contrarians who always have an opinion about what others are doing wrong. And by far, one of the most useful things that I've learned to do is to be so incredibly selective and skeptical with any advice I see out there. Because there are a lot of people out there who will give you genuine and actionable advice because they want to help you. But the percentage of those people compared to the know-it-all losers who can never admit that they might be wrong is incredibly low. So it is possible to get some really good advice from people out there who have seen stuff and been through stuff. But the way I choose to do it is by picking it apart as much as possible before I actually decide whether or not I want to try and apply it to my own situation. So lately I've just been like, you know what? I'm going to create whatever I want, whenever I want, and whatever happens, happens. And I'm not going to lie to you, getting to a point where I can finally feel comfortable with this whatever and whenever I feel like it approach has taken me some time, and it's not been easy. But something that's really helped out is whenever I think about any of the creators out there who I follow and whose work I like the most. And when I thought about it, I realized that there is not a single one of them that I follow specifically because of the schedule they use to upload, or the way that they make their thumbnails, or the way that they write their descriptions. Like, maybe there was a title at some point in the past that helped me to find them in the first place, but that is not why I stuck around. And I can sure as hell tell you, I've never looked at one of the creators I like and thought, you know what? I really used to like this person, but now I don't because they upload once a month instead of twice a week. Like, that just doesn't happen. That's not what I care about. I just like them because I enjoy the stuff that they're making or the message that they're sharing. And thinking about that was one of the main things that really helped me change the way I approach how and when I make stuff. Because it could be once a week, once a month, once every half a year. It could be a video that I spend 2 weeks on, or something that I sit down and I record in 20 minutes. But none of that really matters, because the point is, I just want to create stuff in a way that lets me actually enjoy the creative process. And the key to that is, first of all, finding a creative process that actually works for me and it doesn't feel like a chore. Because you know what? There is no amount of success that I can ever have as a creator that will ever be worth it if it comes at the expense of getting to live and enjoy the rest of my life outside of the shit I make. And that's why I don't care about all of these bozos telling me what schedule I should have, or that I should feel bad whenever I choose to do something else instead of being at home working on my next video and grinding away for more internet points. So no, I'm not gonna make 30 videos a month. I'm not gonna make sure that every video that I ever make is on a trending or a socially relevant topic. Make sure that you're not boring. This is boring. Says who? Who are you to have the authority to tell someone that the stuff they're making is boring or the schedule they're using is wrong, if that's the stuff they enjoy making and if that's the schedule that works for them? Who are you? And if you're someone who's ever run into a person like that, ask yourself this. Who are they? Are they someone who you would go to for help with a really big life decision? Because if not, if they're just a random person on the internet, then why do you care about their opinion and their advice that can potentially end up being harmful to you? Like, what's the point? What do you gain from that? So if you're a creator, do yourself a favor, and before anything else, find your baseline. Find a creative process that works for you. Not for me, not for anyone else, for you. It needs to work for you. Because that is how you learn to create at your own pace, on your own terms, and that's how you actually get to enjoy being a creator long term instead of burning out every 2 weeks until you eventually quit. So yeah, that's just something that I've had on my mind for a while, and I genuinely hope that it was able to help someone out there who needed to hear this, but that's going to be it for this one. Later.